All right, well, I'm back once again to talk about another horror movie. I do like other types of movies, by the way, but I mainly do enjoy horror movies. That's probably my favorite favorite genre. I can't get enough horror. I watch horror all the time. But today we're going to talk about Skinamarink. So you're probably familiar with this movie if you're, I'm sure if you happen to stumble across this video, just because this movie did come out fairly recently. It came out in 2022, and it's, I believe it's the directorial debut of Kyle Edward Ball, which is the guy who made this movie. Now he did make a movie similar to this, or a short film I should say, called Heck. I've seen that as well. It's very similar. It's basically the short film version of Skinamarink. The original, the rough draft, I guess I could say. It's good. I mean, I enjoy it, for what it is, but yeah, so he made this. He basically made that into a feature-length film, which gives us Skinamarink. So yeah, this movie, like I said, came out in 2022. I just kind of stumbled upon this. Just kind of out of nowhere. I was just kind of reading about new movies that were coming out, and I just happened to stumble upon this one. Somebody was saying that it was, just bragging about how it was just the greatest, one of the greatest new movies, the scariest, blah, 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 I mean, you know how people talk and all that, good stuff. And, I'm like, well, I have to see this because they were talking about how experimental and how different it is. And I love experimental horror. And they also, it was also, a lot of people were talking, it was very analog horror. It's very VHS kind of style, film. And I love that. So, I'm all about analog YouTube horror, those kind of things, like the back rooms and stuff like that. So this was kind of, this really kind of stood out to me, at the time, and I really wanted to watch it. And I don't remember where I watched it originally. It is a Shudder movie, but I don't have Shudder. I think it was probably on Hulu or Netflix. I don't know if you can still watch it on there or not, but I loved it when I first watched it, so I went and bought the DVD. And like I said, I've been hearing recently a lot of, this is just the basic DVD. I've had it, ever since I watched the movie. I literally ordered it the next day. But I've been hearing recently, when it first came out, I heard a lot of people just praising it, talking about how great it is and blah, 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 just going on about how artistic and crazy and just good, this movie is, talking like it was the greatest thing ever, so I had to see it. Well, now recently I've been hearing a lot of people just talking shit about it, saying how big of a piece of shit it is. And, the thing is I don't want to say I'm on the fence about it, but I understand both points of view, because to me, in a way, it is a very artistic movie. It's very different. The camera angles are very odd, but I really enjoy that. I thought that was really cool. I mean, there's a lot of shots of just, the ceiling, or, a door frame, or, a dark corner where, and it's all just implied, and I really liked that, where it's like, maybe you're going to see something over here, maybe you're not, and it's very dark, obscure. The only sound that you really get in the movie is like from the sound from the TV. And basically, if you don't know, it's about two, here, the rough, synopsis of it is it's about two kids who basically wake up and their parents are missing, and all the doors and windows in the house disappear, and someone or something is in the house basically after them, and again, that's just a very loose plot. If you just watched this movie, that you probably wouldn't have any clue that that's what's happening, and that's pretty much what it says on the back here, so I'm not even going to read it. It's just a little bit more elaborate, way of what I just said. But this movie, when I first watched it, I watched it really late at night. It was just one thing right before I went to bed. I was like, I'm just going to put this on and check it out, like I said, because I've been hearing so much stuff about it. I was like, I've got to see it, so, I watched it. And I think it was just because why I like this movie so much. I think I watched it at just the right time, because that's another thing I was going to say about it is, I think that there is a certain time to watch this movie, and I feel that way about a lot of movies. Like, for example, during the summer, that's whenever I like to watch movies. Like, I watch a lot of Sasquatch movies, and Friday the 13th, The Burning, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those are my summertime movies. Whereas like wintertime movies are, John Carpenter's The Thing, Dolls. That's another one I love watching during winter. Black Christmas, of course, is one of my go-to Christmas movies. Day of the Dead, that's one of my Thanksgiving movies, believe it or not. I've even got a few of those. But, I don't know what it is. It's just, I think to me, there are some movies that I prefer to watch at certain times. And not even just certain times of year, certain times of day, like this movie. So, this movie right here, I would recommend, if you're thinking about watching it, don't just sit down in the middle. Oh my goodness, excuse me. Don't just sit down in the middle of the day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and throw it on, because you're not gonna get from it what needs to be gotten, I feel. So I will tell you the only time that I watch this movie, what this movie for me is one of those movies where, I'll wake up at 2 a.m., 1 a.m., and I cannot go back to sleep. So I'll go in the living room and I'll put on a movie, and usually I'll sit down and watch the movie. And a lot of times I'll fall back asleep, but if it's something I'm really interested in, I'll really get invested. Believe it or not, Alien Covenant for me is another one of those movies that I'll usually throw on, but normally I'll fall asleep to that one. But this one I can usually sit and watch the full thing, and like I said, that's the best time to watch it. Just if you wake up in the middle of the night, nobody else in your house is awake, and you're up, go to the living room, turn the TV on, throw this movie on, turn off all the lights, and honestly put on headphones if you can, or watch it on a laptop. One of the two. Definitely, I say watch it on a big screen if you can, but like I said, just alone by yourself, no lights. Shut off the lights. And just real late at night or really early, wee hours of the morning, that is the time to watch this movie, because that's really what this movie feels like, to me. So, I really enjoy it. I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, a lot of people are giving it crap because it is just a lot of just stagnant shots of like the wall and the door frame, with like a shot on a VHS camera. But I love it. It has a very eerie atmosphere to it. But like I said just a minute ago, and that's honestly what it is. The whole movie is about atmosphere. I won't give away, really anything that happens in it as usual, because I don't want to ruin it if you haven't seen it. But it really is just atmosphere. That's what this movie is all about. That's why I say that it's perfect. It's one of those certain time of day, late at night, early in the morning time, is the time to watch this, because that's really that's the time that it reminds me of. So I highly recommend it at least once. Just watch it. Even if you don't like it, just check it out to see what all the hype is about. If I had one complaint about the movie, which, of course I always have a complaint about, at least a small complaint, to me, it's too long. So I think it runs for about an hour and 40 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I think an hour, 30 minutes, hour, 40 minutes, something like that. I don't see it on the back. But, yeah, so, I mean, I think it's about an hour and a half. Honestly, I think this movie should have been, it could have been an hour flat, and that would have been fine. That would have been much better, in my opinion. I just think it was a little too long, just because there's not much going on, in terms of story. Again, it's more of an implied kind of, an atmospheric, type, very abstract kind of movie. So I don't think that it needed to be as long as it was. So it does tend to drag just a little bit because there's a lot of filler shots. But again, I don't mind it. Like I said, it's one of those things where I can forgive it for that. So I don't think it's perfect, but I don't think that I don't think it's just amazing and perfect and just the end all of horror movies. But I don't think that it's terrible either. I do enjoy watching it, like I said, if you watch it at a certain time of day. That is what it boils down to. I think if you go into this movie and you were to watch it, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just after you get off work or something like that, it's not really gonna do anything for you. But if it's one of those things where, especially if you have insomnia and you can't sleep, and or if you're anything like me and you just have those random, every now and then, damn, I really can't sleep, I'm just gonna get up and go watch a movie. This is definitely one for that occasion. All the lights off, dark, get your popcorn, again, even put on headphones, because it's very quiet and there's not a lot of sound either besides just kind of the static of the VHS. But I do highly recommend it. I think I paid maybe $10 for this DVD. I ordered it off Amazon. That's honestly where I get most of my DVDs, Amazon and eBay. But I really like this movie. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to defend it a little bit, because I've been hearing a lot. I watched a podcast. I won't say who it is, and I've watched a few that just kind of trash talk this movie. But I don't think it deserves the trash that it gets. But I don't think it deserves the hype really either. I think it's just a really good, experimental, very different horror movie, and I would really like to see something else like this, just done in a little bit of a different way. Maybe with more of a story, more of a solid story going on, rather than it just being two kids in a house. But anyway, that is my review of Skinamarink. Definitely check it out. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it, I'd say 3 out of 5, most definitely, because I enjoy it. Like I said, certain time of day, but not too high, not too low, but right there in the middle. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Definitely check out Skinamarink. It's a fairly good movie, and stay tuned for the next review.